Welcome to Everyday Movie Recap. Today we will recap an Indian movie called 12 Fail. Have you watched this movie yet? Listen as we tell about the inspiring story of this Indian boy who fought against the system. On the far side of the small village called Bilgaon, a man named Manoj Sharma sits atop a rooftop. He envisions himself becoming a police officer. He also dreams of cleaning up the country of corruption. He can be seen writing notes on small pieces of paper. Just then, a police officer comes to deliver the letter telling them that his father got suspended. The grandmother tells the officer to get close to him only to hold him tight and ask her grandchild Kamlesh to bring the grandfather's rifle. She vehemently questions why her son got suspended when they should have something else better to do. The police officer explains that her son, Ramveer Sharma, declines to sign a document that says the farmers got their seeds when in truth the mayor took everything. His father accuses both the mayor and the chief police of robbing the poor villagers. He gets angry and throws his shoe at the police and they issue a suspension for him. The grandmother orders Kamlesh to shoot when Manoj informs them that a police backup is coming. The police officers put the suspension on their door and the grandma reminds them that her husband sacrificed everything for their country. That afternoon, they silently eat their dinner while the mother of Manoj opens up that their grandmother almost got them into jail. Manoj's father Ramveer says that he will not let the case go and bring it to the higher court. Pushpa Sharma, Manoj's mother, worries for the safety of their family if Ramveer goes away. Manoj assures her that he is graduating and will become a high-ranked officer. The next morning, before the exam, his friend asked him how many notes he had written. Manoj has been studying the whole night and his friend tells him that he will become the top scorer in the whole village. The teacher then comes and tells them to destroy their cheat notes. He tells them that even when he allowed the students to openly use cheat sheets before, only a handful passed. It turns out that in this place, most of the people here are corrupt and would often cheat through anything. He tells them that he will no longer allow the use of cheat sheets, instead, he will write the answers on the blackboard. The students cheer as they begin answering their tests. Just then they hear the newly transferred deputy named Dushyant Singh arriving at the class. The school principal urges him inside to talk and asks if the students can do anything without cheating their way through the exam. He tells him that they will never pass unless the school gives them a little help. Just then the principal receives a call from the mayor and transfers it to Dushyant. He declines and hangs up the call. The principal warns him that their village of Chambal is also hosting children of bandits who will get revenge on them if they ever fail the students. The principal, to lighten the mood, urges him to sit and bribes him a gift of money. They take a picture and the principal is taken away. Because Dushyant did not allow the students to use cheat sheets, all the students including Manoj failed the exam. His mother is a little resentful and says that he would have been an officer by now if he passed that exam. She is also angry as her husband will be leaving to appeal to the high court about the corruption happening in their village. She chases after him and offers her goodbye knowing that she cannot change his mind. That night, Manoj and Kamlesh come home bringing money from a makeshift rickshaw business that they had just started. They take other passengers from place to place when they get stopped in their tracks by a man who says they cannot use their truck to go beyond that point as the mayor also owns the transportation bus used by the people. It is a new rule and he tells the passengers to move to the bus. Kamlesh gets angry and slaps the man with his sandals. They continue on their way home when they get stopped again by police officers who take them to the police station. They get punished for hitting the mayor's man with the sandals. Manoj tries to stop the man but he shuts him by threatening to shoot his brother before he can get his grandfather's rifle. The police officer urges him to do it, to which he obliged and he runs away, but not to their house, instead, towards Dushyant's house. Because it is already late at night, Dushyant says that he will take care of it first thing in the morning. Manoj gets angry and tells the police officer why he does not sense the urgency of the situation, but when they are having the exam, he chooses to stop the cheating. Dushyant then comes out and they go to the police station. Dushyant asks the police why Kamlesh is in jail but the police officer says that they are charged for bringing alcohol in their rickshaw and running the rickshaw on the officer's leg. Dushyant smacks the leg with a stick and the man can suddenly walk again proving that he lied. He then lets the brothers go and takes them back home. While driving home, Dushyant is impressed and asks for his name. Manoj then asks him why his father gets suspended even though he is an honest man just like Dushyant. Manoj thinks and then realizes that if an honest person is in power, it will make a big difference. Manoj then asks for advice on how to become like him. Just don't cheat, says Dushyant, and he leaves the place. Years pass and Dushyant gets transferred to another location. Of course, the cheating during exams continued. However, Manoj is left with a powerful lesson that forever changed him. Before the exams, he studied hard and was the only person to not cheat. After passing the exams, his grandmother calls for him and give all her savings in order for Manoj to continue his dream as a police officer. His family bids him farewell as he continues his studies in the city. The journey was so long that Manoj fell asleep. When they arrive at his final destination in Gwalior, he finds out that the bag with all his money and belongings is missing. With nothing except his clothes on him, he despairs trying to figure out what to do next. He thinks about his grandmother saving the money for many years for him to lose it in an hour. When he wakes up in front of the school, he immediately asks when the coaching for the exam starts, to which, the person replies that the government stopped the exams because of budget. The lost Manoj, without anyone to rely on and no money to spend, sat outside of a restaurant. He is so hungry that he asks the owner for food in exchange for any work. In his hunger, he finishes the food in under 2 minutes. He asks the owner for any way he can repay his kindness, but the owner declines, saying that he can pay back later. He insists on paying back, but the owner just tells him to go away. Out of nowhere, a person calls him saying that he will pay for both of them. His name is Pritam Pandey and he says that he is also a student and their exams also got cancelled. From him, he gets to know of UPSC civil service exam, notorious for being one of the toughest exams in India. If he passes the UPSC exam, he can become an Indian police service officer, which is a far higher position than what he originally aimed for. He asks the guy to take him along to Delhi because he will also take that exam. After a lot of thinking, Pritam finally budges and agrees to take Manoj with him. When they get to the city, Manoj is overwhelmed by how busy it is compared to his village. There are so many students. Millions of students. And Manoj is just Manoj. He feels hopeless about how he can compete with other talented individuals. Pritam explains to him how to pass the exam by taking the prelims, mains, and the interview. If he wants to know more, they have a friend named Gauri who has been taking the exams for 5 years. When Manoj first sees him, he is inside a cramped room teaching many students tips and tricks to pass the UPSC exam using a snake and ladder. He says that in the first round, of 200,000 students that take the exam, only less than 1% will pass. And, out of that 1%, only less than 200 will make it to the interview. In total, of the 200,000 students that take the exam, only less than 30 students make it. But before thinking about the exams, Manoj has to think about his financial problems. Gauri tells him that if he is willing to do anything, he can find any work. He finds a work cleaning toilets every day that pays $3 a day. Pritam gives him wine to congratulate him on his first job. He blurts out that the wine is a bribe to his father who works in the public department. Pritam aims to pass the exam to triple the amount of bribe that he gets because of the position. Manoj is shocked by this as he wants to become an honest officer. Upon finding that the leader that they look upon, Gauri, did not pass his test, Pritam goes away to find new friends who have passed the exam. Meanwhile, Gauri conducts another session saying that the exam might have been his last chance. However, the others still have a chance, and if they pass it, then it is good enough for him. He restarts his tutorials and teaches everyone for free. On Manoj's first try, he did not even pass the preliminary exam. Manoj takes this as an opportunity to restart his life and study. He goes to the library to study and do his work while helping Gauri's shop whenever he can. For his hard work, Manoj is rewarded and passes the preliminary exam. He excitedly calls his family to bring them the great news. The next step for him is to find proper coaching to prepare for the main exams. But, when he goes to the review center, the lady almost denies him service because of his low budget. Even with all the money he saved, it is only half of the already discounted price. The lady accepted it, in exchange for helping to clean the place and paying in installments. But he notices one of the IPS passers and tells the next client that, the person they are advertising is self-taught and did not even study in their center. The lady gets angry and gives his money back and throws him out. Before leaving, the client gets to know him as someone who passed the preliminary exam without any coaching. Her name is Shraddha and she seeks his help to get coaching from him. In class, the teacher commends him for his outstanding essay. The teacher gives him not 1, but 2 chocolates to congratulate his work. He gives both to Shraddha. Days pass and he and Shraddha get closer to each other, often hanging out together. But one time, during class, Shraddha finds out that Manoj lied to her about having a degree in engineering. This strains their relationship. Furthermore, he gets blamed for missing money at the library he works at. He scoffs that Manoj's family are probably also thieves. To which, Manoj gets angry and then almost slaps the man. But he calms himself and leaves the place. Pritam searches for him and finds him underground around a noisy machine. It is not the best environment to study. So Pritam tries to drag him out and force him to live with him so he can study peacefully. But Manoj would not budge, and soon, the exam comes. He happily answers the questions and feels confident as he has written an essay already about terrorism in India. However, after the exam, he found out that the topic was not terrorism, but tourism. He is saddened by this news and visits Shraddha's house, who is coincidentally away. Over the phone, he calls her and confesses his love to her. However, he is asked to go back to Delhi, but Manoj goes back to his home. From there, he found out that his dear grandmother had already passed away. No one told him anything because their grandmother forbade them to tell Manoj because he was busy studying. Manoj then goes back to work in flour milling and works during the day, then studies at night. After some time, he gets visited by his father, whom he hasn't seen for a long time. He also finds out that his mother died and tries to bring Manoj with him. He cries, saying that he fought for honesty while his family member died at home. One time, during class hours, Shraddha comes. She apologizes to him for being rude when he visits her, but Manoj thanks her because she made him realize that he doesn't have time for love. Manoj shakes her hand and they haven't met for many months. That is until Shraddha visits him to inform him that he passed the preliminary exams. After congratulating him, Shraddha sincerely asks him to stop working in that place because it is not an environment he can prepare for the main exams. And this was proven true when he took the main exam. He failed, having only answered half of the essay exam. That night, they try to celebrate with a drink. Shraddha even reciprocates his love for him by confessing and cheering for him. He immediately runs toward the house of the person who passed the exam to ask for advice in acing the main exams. He then asks him to write him an essay about himself as training. But in under 8 minutes, Manoj only managed to write less than 200 words. The guy then asks him how he can write about harder topics with the same requirements if he cannot even finish an easy topic about himself within the time limit. At Gauri's shop, he scolds him and tells him to stop any of his work. From that time onward, he will live with him and only think about studying. And after long hours of work, Manoj finally clears the main exam. He excitedly calls Shraddha, but Shraddha is no longer allowed to contact him because someone lied to her father about him doing illicit things with his daughter. It turns out it was Pritam who called in his drunk state. But they soon made up when Manoj came to his doorstep to thank him. Manoj is soon going to the final part of the ISP exam, which is the interview. As he gets called, they ask about the cheating sessions in Manoj's village. He relates to them how he became a changed person after meeting Officer Dushyant. He also tells the board members that in that village, it will be forever corrupt unless the people get educated. This is the reason why he was the first one to stop with the old tradition. Months go by. Finally, Manoj gets the news. He aced the interview and he is finally an Indian police officer. Against the odds, manages to climb up the ladder and restart his failures. He gets to his village and sees the police officer who taught him the lesson of his life. He bows to him and thanks him for everything. The movie ends and Manoj stays in his village to live with his wife. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content like this.